So, I have not slept in, what is it? I don't know. When did we leave? 2 days? 2 days. I'm wearing the same clothes I left Australia in. I feel bad for the missus who has to put up with my smell right now. I'm going to tell you the entire story. I'm going to ask you to share it. Share this out everywhere, because as we saw with the beginning part of this story, and this is just the continuation of the Jim Jeffries expose. We see with the beginning part of this story, the mainstream media ignored it. Now on this one, it's even worse. I've just touched down in Australia and I've opened my news, and I can see that Channel 10 here in Australia has run a story. It's a smear campaign against myself and Sydney, a hit piece. Now at the end of their own story, it says they've requested comment from Avi, but never heard back. That's why they didn't include my responses. I was in detention. They know that. They just wanted to publish a hit piece, and they did so. And they can honestly say they tried to get a comment from me, but I didn't answer. So I need your help. Make sure to spread this true story far and wide. I'm gonna start from the beginning, and bear with me. I told you I haven't slept in 2 days. I stink, and you're not gonna smell it. Luckily, you're not gonna smell it through the camera, but I'm a little bit scattered. So I'm gonna go from the first moment. As you all saw, witnessed, following the video of Jim Jeffries and Comedy Central, the defamatory piece that they put up, I decided we're gonna go on a tour against the fake news in America, taking Sydney Watson with me. Everything was going to plan. We had a great flight. We finally, we landed in LA. Okay, we were gonna go, our itinerary was like this. We were going to LA, landing in LA. We were gonna pass immigration, all that, catch a flight to New York, then to Washington, and then to LA. We were gonna go to Comedy Central in New York. We were on a few shows, including Dave Rubin's show. We were gonna go to Jim Jeffries' show in Maryland, next to Washington. It was all ready to go. When we arrived in LA, it was packed. We went through the, lined up for the visas. I'm talking a lot, aren't I? I'm not, is it bad? Should I start again?
No.
It's all right. Bear with me, all right? This is unfair because I've decided I have to do it immediately because of, just opening my phone and seeing what the fake news is already starting to write. I need the truth to be out first. So the real narrative, the true narrative is out there before the fake news gets to dictate what's going on, gets to make up my story and the reality I've been through in the last 2 days. So we went through the line. We waited, I don't know, it was about 45 minutes to just get to the counter if anyone's been through LAX. We get to the front of the counter. Obviously, Sydney's in one line, I'm in another one. Now they pull up my passport, look at it, something's obviously come up on the screen. The border police there tells me to come with him quickly, go to a back room. I'm following him. There's a manager there going, oh, Mr. Yamini needs, and I could see that my name sounded a bit familiar, but fair enough, went with him. The superior officer took me to another, and on the way I'm talking to him, I go, oh, is something wrong? Is there any problem here? Oh, no, not a problem. You're on the visa waiver program. You were here 6 months ago on this same visa waiver program. There was no problem. I think we need to just update some details on your visa waiver program. No worries, fair enough. I said, I was here like 6 months ago on this same thing. Nothing's changed. For anyone that understands the visa waiver program, as an Australian, if you qualify for it online, you can literally come into the States. They give you 2 years. You can come in and out as much as you want on that program without actually having to obtain a proper visa. I've gone with him. They've taken me to this back area where they do more checks, more questioning. They called it standard, just wanting to update my information on my, I think it's called the ESTA program, the visa waiver program. They checked my bags, everything's looking kosher. They start to, they're asking me a bit more about what I'm doing in the States. Fair enough. Now, they said to me, all right, we need to just sit down and have a conversation about a few details. No worries. They take me to a room, and I tell you, this is like straight out of a movie. The door opens, and I'm starting to sense there's something more to this story. They open the door, and there's a man in a suit and a woman sitting behind a computer. I walk in, they flash their IDs, and we're from the FBI, and we need to ask you a few questions. I saw that, and I couldn't help it. I looked at her and I cracked up laughing because I realized what was happening. I realized that my prediction that I made on Steven Crowder's show, which Steven Crowder laughed it off, said, "No, this is America. You can say whatever you want. No one can stop you from coming into the country." And I predicted that I would most likely get deported. It was coming true. And I found it hilarious. The bloody FBI, I'm in a movie. The FBI are coming to see me on my entry to the United States. I sat down. Now, the FBI went through a full, there was probably an hour interrogation on my visit. The first thing they said to me, which is important to note, the first thing they said to me when we sat down is, "We do not work for Comedy Central. We are a separate entity." And I said, "But Comedy Central's the complainant, the informant in this situation." They say, "Well, Comedy Central have put forward a number of complaints regarding your visit here, which we need to just clarify a few issues." And I was happy to, because I did nothing wrong, and I stand by everything I've said or posted or everything. So they started to go through all my posts regarding this trip, including, there was one where Politicalite posted an article just talking about the trip, and they said the Politicalite added the image. In fact, it's a really good photo. I'll add it in the comments here, maybe. It's a good photo. Me in Israel, in my military gear. I look good. Do I look good in it, babes? That no one can hear. Do I look good? Yes, good. See? And she's not necessarily a gun person, but I look good in it. Anyway, so Politicalite used that image, and for them they tried to take, it wasn't really them. Comedy Central was complaining that these were all violent threats against Comedy Central and against Jim Jeffries. Now, we went through each and every one of them, including that Politicalite article, every one of them. And by the end of the interrogation, I was cleared by the FBI. The FBI said to me, literally, "We have no problem with you being here. We understand," and they actually thought it was kind of funny. They understood why I wanted to be in the States to clear my name. Why I wanted to ask Comedy Central, one, why they ever posted that fake news, why they continued to leave it up, the defamatory content, why they're deleting everybody who mentions it. And share this video, or share the tr.news article that you're seeing this in, and tag them on Instagram, on Twitter, and keep the conversation going, because they can't. This is all it is. This whole story is. It is Comedy Central once again trying to shut down this story, trying to sweep it under the carpet, trying to get rid of it and shut me up. So the more you share it and the more you talk about it, the better it is. The better they'll see that they cannot actually win this. But the FBI, by the end of it, said that they're going to tell the Customs and Immigration that they think I pose no threat. They did tell me, when you're doing whatever you're doing here, just be mindful that whatever language you use in your comments, that Comedy Central can't take it as, twisted as a threat, as a violent threat. Or a threat to violence against them, or we're gonna have to track you down again. And I said, no worries, but you can see, they cleared everything I said. Nothing was a threat to violence. I've never been violent. In fact, they were starting to ask me about my Israeli military service and whether I'm gonna obtain weapons in America I said to them, the biggest weapon I have is here right now in my bag. It's a microphone and camera. That is the only weapon I use. That is the only weapon I need to expose Comedy Central and Jim Jeffries. I didn't use guns. It was laughable and sad at the same time. It was surreal that I was sitting there being questioned in such a manner. But I was cleared. And let's and when the media, whichever media is watching this now, ask the FBI. I was fully cleared by them to continue what I was doing. But the final decision now on my entry comes back down to customs and immigration. When I went back to customs and immigration, now I'm taking everyone's word, everybody on face value, everybody that I seen, because every single officer, border force officer, FBI, everybody I met were actually really fantastic, really nice to me, really good. In fact, I'm not gonna hurt anyone's career, but a number of them were fans of mine, and they were saying, "Oh God, I hope you get in so you can get this Jim Jeffries." So they were like real cool people. But I don't know. I don't know right now. And we're gonna have to test these theories, because at the end of the day, when I was put into detention for about 15 hours, a couple of more interrogations now through customs and immigration, and what they say they uncovered is that I came on the visa waiver program, and the same, and I want to highlight this, I came on it 6 months or 7 months ago as well and had no problem. But what they're saying now is, since they were looking deeper into it, they noticed on my first application, which was about 1.5 years ago, for this visa waiver program, you get about 2 years on it. So about 1.5 years ago, I made this application, and on one of the questions, it said, have you ever been denied a visa to the US? And I ticked no. Out of all their questions, I ticked no on that, which in fact, about 15 years ago, I was denied. So I made a mistake. I never hid it. I actually said it to him then. So I made a mistake, but my point is, since then, I've been back in the US on this same visa waiver program. It wasn't a problem. They're claiming that now, since it's been brought up, that what I need to do is go back home to Australia, apply for a visa, and then I can come back in. But they can't let me in because this document is now considered null and void. You can't use it. And you can't use a visa waiver program. You have to actually get a visa. Cool. I'm going to do that. I'm going to test. I'm going to see, and we'll know. We'll know whether this has come from higher up, and I'm just not allowed in the States. They just found a technicality to kick me out. I don't know. I don't know the truth. I don't know, because it's weird to me. The fact is, I've been back to America, no problems. The fact is, the FBI were waiting for me right then when I got there. But it can be. The truth is, it can just be that this time, because the FBI were called on me and everything that had happened, it just triggered this process that they found this little technicality, and there was nothing they can do. They had to make me go home, get a visa, and come back. I am going to follow the processes, and I appreciate border security, and I think that I can sympathize with it. If somebody even accidentally breaks a rule within border security, with immigration, then they should have to go back, and I'm happy to do it, as long as that is the real reason, as long as there's nothing more to it, and we are going to find that out. So this is pretty much the timeline of it. I got there after 14 hours of traveling. Got to the immigration after about that first 40 minutes dealing with the immigration there. I had about an hour with the FBI interrogation, got cleared there. Had I think it was about 15 hours in a room with mainly Mexican illegal immigrants, who I got to chat to a bunch of them, who all blamed Trump for them being there. Anyways, it was an interesting thing. It was an interesting experience. I was there, not really any food. At one stage, they let me buy a sandwich. There was, I think the hardest point is communication. I got to use my phone once. That's when I tweeted. That's when I called my girlfriend to tell her what was going on. That's when I called Sydney, who was stuck on the outside without any communication, because Sydney only got through because she had an American passport. They only let Sydney Watson through because they couldn't stop her because she's an American citizen. But then when she was sitting out there, we were meant to catch a plane at what time? 9:15 a.m. She was sitting out there till about 1 p.m. not knowing what was going on, and I was her travel partner, and there was no way to communicate it to her until I finally got that one phone call at about 2 or 3 p.m. I think it was American time, LA time. But now she's still in the States. We're gonna work together on what our next moves. And the truth is, my next moves, I'm not going to spread it online as much, because I can see Comedy Central won this round. They won it. If they think that this is going to end it, they're dreaming. Again, I'm going to tell you this again, Comedy Central. You should really, really go and talk to my mum, because she will tell you how persistent I am. You could throw the world at me. I'm not going to let this go. This has only made me more determined. The fact that since you posted that fake news story against me and haven't said a word, in fact, you've tried to silence anyone who speaks about it at every point, at every turn. In fact, you've tried to get me, you've got me kicked out of a country because you're so scared about what I'm going to highlight. Just makes me want to do it more, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to find you. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get this story. I'm going to make sure it hits the mainstream media, and it already is. Like, the fact is, a lot of mainstream media wanted to ignore the initial expose on Jim Jeffries. Even that Channel 10 article that I was telling you about with total fake news, total hit piece. Some of the language is disgusting. You can go read it yourself. You know, they just bring the most irrelevant facts into it to try and paint me as something I'm not, as usual. But even at the end of the article, they said they approached Comedy Central for comment who refused to comment. Which, to me, I'm happy. I'm happy because more mainstream media is going to ask Comedy Central, what hand did you have in this? Why did you complain about Avi coming to the States? What are you so scared of? And that's why it is so important that everyone keeps sharing this story and share the fact that at the end, they may have got me on a technicality, and I wear it, and I will test this technicality out. Don't worry, I'm going to, in the next couple of days, apply for a new visa, even though it's interesting. I got out on that first visa 6 months ago, but I'm going to apply for it. I'm going to go through the process. I'm going to do it all. But the fact is, this time, I got banned because of Comedy Central's complaints. Whether it's directly because of their complaints to the goddamn FBI, I kind of feel like it was kind of like exciting. There was a certain like I was totally tired and wrecked, but there was an element of excitement. I felt like I was in a movie. The FBI and their little, like, they had their little, like, you know how they, like, it was like in the movies, but like, I'm doing from the FBI. Like, he was like, even had the American accent and all. It was like, it was surreal. But because of their complaint, I got deported. I got treated like a criminal, and people who come to countries, like, I'm not complaining. Don't take this wrong. I'm not complaining about my treatment when I was there. Like, the fact is, I was sitting in the room, and most of the people there, I think they were coming to the country illegally, either to work, whatever it was. And I don't blame. I believe in strong borders. Ironically, if you watch back on the video where Jim Jeffries, where he interviewed me, and when the part that he cut up to try and make me look bad, but the question when he says, whoever has the right to tell anyone when and where they can travel, who can, he was saying, I can't remember the word for word, I'll cut it, I'll put it here.
I might sound like a hippie saying this. What gives anyone the right to tell anyone where they can and can't live?
How ironic that Mr. Jim Jeffries, who thinks anyone should be allowed to travel anywhere, suddenly had a problem with me coming to the States. There's only one reason, because he's scared. Comedy Central is scared that this is going to become the conversation. But I think maybe I'm not going to get on all those shows right now that I was invited to. Maybe I'm not going to get to go to Comedy Central today. Maybe I'm not going to get to crash Jim Jeffries' show. But I think the fact that I was banned from the US is probably going to give this story more air than they expect. But I'm going to need your help to do it. So please share either this video or share the TR.news story. Let's get it out there far and wide. And I want to thank everyone. I know my messages on all my platforms are packed of people sending me love and support. And yes, obviously the haters are laughing and posting. Good on them. As long as I'm on there, as long as I dominate their brains, as long as I, what's the word I'm looking for? As long as I'm occupying their minds, I'm happy. So haters keep hating, but I'm really, really grateful for all the love and support I've been getting. I'm gonna go home now. I'm gonna do two things. Can I say it? I'm going bathroom, which I haven't done for many hours properly. And then I'm gonna have a shower and change into nice clothes. But thank you all. I love you all.